and type in Sky. Ship station. Make ship. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of its host, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of the station, staff, management, or sponsors.
There we go. So hopefully the lighting is okay. We're obviously on the road and
real estate, mortgages, and related financial products to achieve a more secure financial future. For the real estate investor or the home buyer, Zim to provide expertise in matching the right properties and financing to your specific financial objectives. This show is dedicated to helping you find the safe and simple approach to buying income producing real estate. If you have any questions about the program or to arrange a consultation,
here we go.
888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. Now, today's edition of The Real Estate Show.
And hello, South Florida. Welcome to another live edition of The Real Estate Show, but not just any live edition of The Real Estate Show, but the Friday TGIF edition of The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. I am your host, broadcasting live from a remote location. And we've got a great show for you today as we wrap up another very busy, very eventful, and very informative week. We're glad that you could join us, and whether you joined us on our original AM station, that is AM 1470, that's WWNN Money Talk Radio, leading the talk radio in the South Florida area, or whether you're joining us on the FM sister stations of 95.3, 96.9, or 103.9, all on the FM dial. And all of those are carried on our iHeartRadio transmission. So lots of different ways for you to hear us. You can also hear us live on our website. Remember to jot down and remember automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. It's a place where real estate investors go for all of their information, learn all about property management, partnering with the real estate show, and of course, learning all about real estate, whether you're a first-time investor, whether you're a homeowner, or whether you're buying your 21st home. Happy Friday to you too. And if you're listening to us, you could also be listening to us on the internet by way of our website, automaticlandlord.com. Just go to the top of the page there, click on the real estate show, and you can choose from either listening to us live if you're here between the 8 and the 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, or you could be listening to us on the streaming for the iHeartRadio, or you could be listening to us as we streaming now live and visually on our Facebook page. Yes, we have a Facebook page where we do the radio show live there as well. That is at facebook.com/The Real Estate Show. All one word, no spaces, no hyphens, just The Real Estate Show. If you already have a Facebook account, then all you have to do is type in that word there, The Real Estate Word, as if the Real Estate Show, as if it was one word. And so first of all, I want to thank you for taking time out of here, especially on a Friday as we're wrapping up the day here. A very busy day, very busy week. We have also want to thank our sponsors this week with TimeToFixMyCredit.com. For making this show possible. I also want to bring to your attention that all of our shows are rebroadcast and available. If you just want to go to the Automatic Landlord website, you can go back as far back as you want. You can listen to it in fact, I'd challenge you to binge watch through that because it's literally 5 days a week. And it goes back for many, many years. So each week, as you know, we pick a theme, and that theme, we kind of carry that through the week, even though each day of the week, we approach real estate from a little bit of a different angle. For example, Mondays, we start out talking about the concept of the week. This week here, we talked about whether it is a time for a financial pivot. Now, why did I bring that up as a theme? And I was looking back, when the pandemic happened, that's when we started doing these live Facebook transmissions. And we said that the pandemic was not a revelation to anybody, but the pandemic was a game changer, right? And it changed everybody's game. The question at the time, back in March, is we didn't know what the change meant or what the change was even going to be. It was just a worldwide pandemic that was announced. It was a terrible, deadly flu, originated out of China, but literally was spreading across the globe like wildfire, and there was no controlling it. The cases, the reported cases were going up, and of course, in the beginning, China was experiencing this massive number of people getting sick and dying. They had to build very quick hospitals. They literally built a 10-story hospital in about 11 weeks. And that just gave you the magnitude and the seriousness of it. And other world leaders started to see this and wanted to restrict and prohibit the Chinese from traveling and carrying that. But once the horse gets out of the barn, you can't close the door afterwards. And if you remember, Italy got hit very hard, Spain got hit very hard, and then the rest of Europe and the United States followed about a month later. So we had the advantage of seeing what was happening in China, then in Europe, and then coming across the ocean. But the bottom line is it was a game changer. And when that happened here on the Real Estate Show, we obviously, like everyone else, were asked and forced to shelter in place and sit back. And we advised, keep calm. The thing to do right now, number one, is to stop and analyze, pay attention and analyze what's going on, because it was a game changer. We just didn't know what the new game would be like. And I think even till today, we're still learning what it is, even though some very good news. I understand that the labor secretary is going to be announcing in the next few days that over 15 million people went back to work, and we went from near depression level unemployment all the way down to, I think we're now below 8%, which is not far from normal times. It's higher than normal times, but it's not outlandish. So we have done as a country a tremendous job of coming back to work and adapting. And I think maybe part of the lesson is that we didn't know what the game was, so we did have to shut down at that time, but we didn't have to shut down as long. And as long as people would cooperate and follow the social distancing guidelines and do things prudently and wisely, that we could slowly go back to work and go back to quote unquote normal. So we spent a week just talking about stop, analyze, what to look for, or how to do this. And you can go back to our March recordings and look at that. Then the next week we said, this is what you got to do. We need to cut costs and conserve cash, because it may be a huge opportunity, or we may have to depend on that cash reserve. But the real estate market defied gravity. And you're going to see when we get to our Wednesday show, when we talk about our midweek report, that real estate is still on fire. And I was just looking at another one of the headlines today saying that the CEO for Redfin believes that this crazy hot market for the demand for real estate is likely to continue through into 2021. And we're not even out of 2020 yet. So we talked about cutting costs. We talked about conserving cash. We talked about, then we started to say, okay, now let's say that you've gotten everything under control and you were aware of where you stood. Now you got to start looking for certain alternatives. And the emphasis of having multiple streams of income. In real estate, we know all about that. We talk about multiple streams of income as in multiple properties. Sometimes we talk about multiple types of properties. One of the reasons why I am away here on assignment is learning about another type of stream of income for real estate, which I will talk about more. next week when I get back. But we started looking at the different cash alternatives, different streams of income alternatives. And then we spent the following week going into the quote unquote new gig economy. Now, the gig economy, which is sort of another word for freelance or moonlighting, but it's another side hustle. You hear it called that as well. But you can't rely anymore on just one thing. In fact, the successful people have known for a while that you want to create these multiple streams of income. And we started talking about some of the alternatives. And real estate, as I like to remind you, and that was probably a great week to go back and listen to our conversation about the gig economy, because real estate is the ultimate gig for you to get into that you can do part-time, that you can do to supplement, grow. And it's a beautiful thing, because once you set it in motion, it pretty much takes care of itself. And if you do it the automatic landlord way, it definitely takes care of itself. And then you can build upon it, and then go out and get another property, and then build upon that. And so there are your multiple streams of income, using the concept of alternative source streams of income and the gig economy. And so if you watch the evolution of the real estate show through this year, it's really been way more than just a conversation about real estate, but really a conversation about how to retire, how to grow your wealth, and how to protect your income so that it is economic, pandemic proof, and everything else. And so we then, once we had explained all of those foundational things, we started talking about a relaunch. And I even played with the word relaunch, and being real estate. And so here we go. I'm getting a message from my engineer that
Eric, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
I am. It took us to commercial. We lost you for around a minute there.
All right. That's the technical challenges of being on the road. So anyway, we're going to go ahead. Probably a well-timed, maybe my quarter ran out and it forced me into a break. So we were setting up the week, and I'm not sure exactly where you guys lost me. Of course, those of you who are on Facebook and those of you who are on YouTube would have gotten this without interruption. But so let me go ahead and jump back into my notes here, and then we'll go back into that conversation. By the way, Marianne, this is for you. Go Pink Wire. That'll be the theme there. So it's really taking shape. And this next week, we're going to be doing a little bit of planning and getting everything ready for our new group called that we're going to call it Codename Wire for Women in Real Estate. Good. So thanks for that feedback, Marianne. So I know that that Facebook never dropped, and it looks to me like our YouTube feed didn't drop. It might have just been the feed to the radio, and I don't know if that was an internet thing or whether it was a software thing. So anyway, we're coming back now. Jim Nolan. There we go. We're coming back now. And welcome back. Welcome back to the Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. You are listening to South Florida's #1 show about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show about real estate since April of 1999, for you to just get an idea. Over 21 years. It'll be 22 years very soon. The way time is flying. And so anyway, we were talking about how the Monday really sets the tone for the week, and how each week we had kind of evolved the conversation about real estate, going from the pandemic being a game changer all the way through, stop, take the temperature and reassess and then relaunch, which we've done already. And now, last week we were talking about the pandemic was not just a game changer, but it was either a paralyzer for people or it was an accelerator. And we have chosen, and especially real estate, you know that for real estate, the pandemic has actually been an accelerator. And that along with, record low interest rates, that along with the confluence of some really big trends, the millennials now coming of age and now coming of buying power and now coming into the age of families and wanting to get out. Then you throw the pandemic on top of that. Well, everyone wanted to get out of the cities, which, by the way, was where the millennials were liking to go to. And now they've all changed directions and are heading out to more suburban lives, more spread apart, socially distanced, if you want to call it that. But you add all of that along with the low interest rates, along with all of these different things going on, the builder sentiment, the economy. It doesn't hurt to have a president who made his money in real estate and has obviously a very strong passion for real estate. Certainly helps this industry and the confidence in this industry. So that was our Monday show, setting up the thing. And I say, okay, now once you've decided whether it was your paralyzer or whether it was your accelerator, and I asked, which for those of you out there listening, what was it for you? And I invited everyone to go to my website at automaticlandlord.com and schedule and book a free strategy session. If it was a paralyzer, let's get you unstuck. If it was the accelerator and you've got a high-speed wobble, you're not sure what to do or what to do next, especially in light of the new year, especially in light of the elections, and especially in light of any other uncertainties that you're having out there. I mean, just watch the stock market and hold on for your life. So book that strategy session. Take advantage. It's free. There's no cost. There's no obligation. It's an opportunity for me to get to know my listeners a little better. It's an opportunity for you to get to know me a little better and take some of the insight that we have to offer here and put our 20 plus years of experience here on the air, actually another 10 before I even got involved in the radio show. And then now let's go on to our Tuesday show. Now, Tuesdays is different in the sense that we go from the conceptual conversation to where the rubber hits the road. We talk about tools, tips, and techniques. What is it that we're doing? And on Tuesday, we had our credit accelerator class and a workshop right after the radio show. So we talked about credit and how to accelerate the process of building credit, repairing credit, and doing all those things. And each Tuesday now, after our radio show, we have scheduled a credit accelerator workshop. And if you want to learn more about that, all you have to do is text the word credit to 561-898-0018. That's to the word credit. Text it to 561-898-0081. And we're going to get you the report, the information, how you can attend, and so forth. Which reminded me, on Monday, we also had our workshop for those of you who had joined our expansion team. You know that we were growing our conversation on the equity accelerator. And so we had that on Monday night. Now, let's jump ahead to Wednesday, because speaking about accelerate, it seems like time accelerates on Friday when we're trying to get in all the highlights of the week that we covered in the real estate show. Now, you can go back and hear the detail and the extended version of each of these things, but a lot of people like to join us on our Friday exactly for that summary. So Wednesday, again, we switch gears in our approach to real estate and our conversation. We went from the boardroom to the factory floor where we make the donuts. Then on Wednesday, we stop and we take, again, a survey, and we go out and we look at the headlines and the articles out there, not because I'm trying to be a news source, but we are. But what I'm trying to do now is tell you, based on the news that's going on in the marketplace, what your next move might be. And particularly in light of our theme this week, is it time for you to make a pivot, a financial pivot, most likely? We started talking about number one, the real estate rates. We talked about how the low rates, at times lower than 3% for a fixed 30-year mortgage. It's crazy to think that that's what's going on right now. If you had told me that this would be happening when I started out my real estate career, I never would have believed it. And yet I'm living through it and I'm recommending that if you have the opportunity to get a locked-in mortgage at 3%, run, don't walk, run and go get it. And if you need help, again, you're welcome to call us, contact me, go ahead and reach out to us on our website at automaticlandlord.com, or call us toll free at 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. Now, we also talked about the September existing home sale. Now, remember, we're still in the month of October, so the complete figures for September came in, and existing home sales were up over almost 9.5%. And that's big news. Remember, we're in a pandemic. We're in supposedly high unemployment figures, and yet home sales are going through the roof. Partially, I explained with some of my earlier comments, but here's the thing. That's also causing price acceleration, and that eventually will cause us to hit a ceiling in terms of affordability. So again, is there a pivot on the horizon? And this is just to alert you, just to watch for that. We also talked about retrofitting older homes because of these emission targets. Now, ears open as you look at the presidential elections. If the elections go one way, you've got one party that's dying to raise taxes and raise the emissions standards, right? Or I should say lower the emissions allowable, and that may force people to go back and retrofit homes. Well, there's a cool conversation technology-wise around that, but don't ignore the fact that that's going to cost a lot of people a lot of money, and it will raise the cost of buying real estate as well. So that's an important thing. Again, a thought, if you're in the process or in the business of rehabbing properties, then this whole idea of retrofitting, maybe as you're doing the rehabs, this is a great time to be putting your houses ahead of the curve and be able to market your homes as smart homes, as already retrofitted. And that is a marketing opportunity and perhaps a money-making opportunity if you see where I'm going. Now, I also talked about home builder sentiment, and I talked about there's a shift going on in that market as well. Home builder sentiment is at an all-time high for the fourth month in a row. Home builder sentiment continues to rise. And remember, I spoke about that in a week ago, and I was alerting you to understand that home builder sentiment, if it's positive now, they're thinking not of delivering new construction tomorrow, because the process of finding or buying the property, getting it properly zoned, then drawing the plans, then getting the permits, and then actually doing the construction, they're usually doing something that's going to happen a year to 2 years out. Now, if you read the tea leaves, that means that the home builders believe, remember the big trends that I was talking about in the first half of the show, that the demand, and in fact, I even told you that even Redfin is saying that demand is going to be hot through to 2021. And that's a very interesting thing, even though there was another headline that said that home starts were at a low, and that may be just a pause in the market. Could it be a financial pivot, or is it just a pause, a wait and see move to watch which way the elections go and which way the New Year's is going to point us in terms of what game we have to be ready to play? Now, I don't care what the game is. As far as I'm concerned, we make our own economy. We're going to be, I believe, very successful in the next 12 to 24 months. I've been talking about this on the radio show now for several weeks. And this is an opportunity, if you understand what we're talking about on the radio show, and if you don't fully understand it, that is why I offered that strategy session, that free consultation. Just go to automaticlandlord.com and book that appointment. No one will follow up or hassle you after that. It'll be an opportunity, and I guarantee you're going to walk away with a lot more insight into what the market is doing. And then we go to our Thursday show. Now, Thursdays is typically about the money. That's why we call it our ATM edition of the real estate show. And the theme of the show was, and this could be a mental pivot if you really think about it. There's an old adage that says that your net worth is a function of your net work. Okay, and what I'm talking about is that real estate and most business is a people business. In fact, without people, there really is no business. The object of the game, a customer, is to be able to attract a steady flow of buyers of your product or your service or combination of the two. Real estate, just like any other business, is really a marketing business, right? We're marketing for buyers, we're marketing for sellers, we're marketing for renters. That's what we need to do. And the better you are with people, the better you are at networking, the better your net worth will be. And that was the conversation about our Thursday show. And it's the importance of people over product and over services, because without the people, none of that even matters. And every business, I don't care what business you want to talk about, is in the same boat when it comes to that conversation. And that's why we always put this emphasis on understanding and working with people to get more people, because otherwise everything else is just a deliverable. And if you have nobody to deliver it to, what does it all matter for? So that was our, the rest is all about the processes. We talked about that whole conversation about the net worth of an individual, especially in real estate, with the multiple streams of income. And when you start wrapping that whole weekly conversation together, you begin to understand why real estate really is the ideal investment. It has advantages. In fact, if you lay it down, we talk about our 5-point evaluation. Number one, income. Real estate produces income and steady, accumulate, compounding income that is protected against inflation and grows with time. Income, in fact, the real estate itself is a hard asset, which is also a hedge against inflation. And with all the money that's been going out in stimulus packages and so forth, notice we didn't talk too much about the stimulus package in this week's show. And that's because there wasn't a lot of progress, even though supposedly the parties, the Congress and the Senate are getting back in and having conversations. And I'm, like I said, I don't want to go deep into the politics, but that's been a whole mess. And we know that nothing's going to happen now anymore before the elections are happening. Then I think we will see something meaningful. Anyway, that about wraps up the entire week. You can go back to automaticlandlord.com, listen to any one of the shows or all of the shows in their entirety to catch all of what we were talking about. And we got a great week planned for you ahead. We got a huge announcement, by the way. I'm going to do that on Monday. So I'm going to definitely save a really great new announcement, something very special. The real estate show is on the move, always on the move. But we got a big move that we're going to announce on Monday. So that's it for today. This is Eric Willner, your host, on assignment from a remote location, but always delivering you something new, something fresh here on the Real Estate Show. So until Monday, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a pivotal week. Bye-bye. And that wraps up today's show. Thank you, Ken.
All right, have a good weekend.
You too. Go ahead and disconnect from the radio station, from the radio show. It's kind of neat when I think about that. I literally have a radio studio in my suitcase. In fact, in my briefcase everywhere I go. Last night I was the guest where they provided. If you watched yesterday, you would have seen a different background, and I was able to set up. And it was neat because my host there, Steve Davis, he also has his own radio show. But when I asked him if I could use one of his offices to do my show, he kind of was taken aback, and he goes, "You have your stuff with you?" And he saw that I only had my briefcase. And so he came in and I showed him the whole setup and everything. And so expect Steve to be on our show sometime soon. He is the leader of the Real Wealth Academy, and also all about real estate, very successful investor and educator in the real estate business. specializing a lot in commercial type properties. And he's got some real interesting stuff. We'll be spending the day tomorrow doing all about that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shut down our YouTube live chat. Thank you all for attending and for supporting us. Don't forget to, on our Facebook page, to